Okay, so coach, you've worked with so many different types of players, like all Americans, best of the best, ones that go on to the big show. If you were to give a TED talk and be like, cool, these are my three things that I think is what I've seen that separates the best of the best from those that are great and good, but don't quite take it to that next level. What are you seeing that kind of separates the best?
Boy, that's a great question. I got to organize those thoughts a little bit. I I do think there's okay. I think technically in whatever area, I think there's an attention to fundamentals from the great players, the elite players. And so I think they're fundamentally always super sound and they've honed those skill sets and they've developed technically and they're really sound in those areas. And ultimately, based on what their expertise, they have some area that is different than other players. It might be strength, it might be putting, it might be I don't know. They have some strength that translates into like a separator. I think that that's something that's been developed over time. Um, I think the truly elite players and the ones that have been the separators, they're I think they're relentless. I love that word. I just think they're kind of self-starters. They have this chase and this pursuit of greatness all the time. And I just think there's a relentlessness to everything that they do with what where they chase it. And so I think that that's something that's really kind of a separator. And then I go back to a little bit what I said on the front end of it. I don't know anybody that's ever been great in their field that don't that doesn't have a passion for that field or whatever they're doing. I mean, I just think you have to have a love for it. And that love may be the game, it may be aspects of the game, it may be the pursuit of excellence, the pursuit of whatever it is, there's a passion for it. And so I think when you have that passion, the person is just really driven, is just kind of relentless by nature to chase excellence. And they combine that with some great skill sets that they've developed over time and some attention to detail fundamentally. Um, you got a chance to really be special.
Coach Erline, I would definitely listen to your TED talk. A strength or a superpower, you've got a relentlessness and you've got a passion for the game. Like that's distilled very, very well as to kind of three key components to greatness. It's awesome. So, okay, let's go back to that superpower or that strength that you talk about. How then, as parents, can we help either recognize that strength in our child early? And I mean, there's always it seems to be this balance of like, do we work on our weaknesses or do we really double down on our strengths? Like how do we figure that out as parents of younger juniors?
I think first of all, just expose them to a lot of things. I think the first thing you do as a parent is I think you have to help them discover what they love. It doesn't matter what you really love, and if they're gonna naturally be exposed to the things that you do as parents. But I think you have a responsibility as a parent to help your kids find their passion and their love and what they're really excel at. And so I think early on, I think exposing them to a lot of things is super important. Um, I think you mentioned are we trying to double down on our strengths, clean up our weaknesses? Um, I think it's a little bit of both, but that's not an answer to your question. I recognize that, and um, that's where I think kids that have backgrounds and athletic references, if we're talking sports right now, I think kids that have backgrounds and athletic references, I think they have opportunities in their windows to grow and to clean up those weaknesses and address those shortcomings and to try to tackle things developmentally that kids that are really tunneled in and don't have those athletic references that they oftentimes find more challenging.
So,
And so
would that
I just
imply?
yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, coach. Would that imply then that, like, are you seeing that the best players that you've worked with, are they coming from a multi-sport background, and were they playing like a high level of multiple sports earlier on, and they
I think they
focus
have
later?
yeah, I do. I think they have some background in some other things early on in life. And it doesn't have to even be team sports or but maybe they have a martial arts background, or, I mean, they just have other backgrounds. They have some other things that they've been through and they've gone through. And so, and I think that those are things that I do think have separated players, and that I've seen that has tend to um, produce more growth and more opportunity and more development at players as they move into, higher levels of competition.
Hmm.